All right, folks, I'm going to try and take us home. I am not here today to sell you on a product. I'm here to make you afraid. Credit to Michael, not vaporware, the MCP server works. I tried to use it. It told me what I needed to do. Let me zoom this in so that people can see what goes on. Told me what I needed. I gave it the details. Beautiful. I have submitted my talk for next time. And then I did what any sensible hacker would do immediately after and asked Claude to write a script to DDoS the server because obviously he forgot auth. And Claude surprisingly was totally okay with doing this. And I have a script here that will just run a for loop and submit requests to be a speaker at the next event. I'm sorry about that. Credit to, this hack happened 20 minutes ago. Credit to you guys. I did get a nice error saying that I couldn't do duplicate entries. So let's give a round of applause for some decent security.
We thought about that one thing.
So then I just asked Claude to use OpenAI to generate new fake entries. So now you can't even conveniently just delete everything that got submitted in the last hour. I'm sorry about that. So we're all building a bunch of cool MCP servers. A lot of them are not very secure. I feel like this is the vibe coding moment, truly, of MCP servers. You can find online a bunch of registries. My favorite is the MCP registry, which is a registry of all of the registries for MCP. And there are a lot of MCP servers being spun up right now. If you don't want, this is remarkably complicated. You can also just scrape GitHub. And there's links out the wazoo to MCP servers that you can look at. Most of them open source, but not all of them. And so I scraped them, all of them. I wrote a very annoying thing. I used the browser tool within OpenAI to scrape a bunch of things, test out what they were using for auth. And what do we get? Most, like a good chunk of them, are either publicly hosted MCP servers or just local hosts. Makes sense. Lots of docs servers, tools like that. A lot of them are using API keys or some kind of personal access token, which is great. Most of us here are developers. We're very comfortable with API keys. This is not a thing that normal consumers know about. You can't ask your parents to get their API key. And frankly, if you're trying to deploy MCP servers in enterprise contexts, sell something really cool for these servers, you kind of need to support OAuth. And you probably eventually want to support SSO, SCIM, SAML, all of the other enterprise nonsense you eventually want to get to. So how do you actually do this? Who here has built an MCP server with auth before? You guys have got some lessons to learn. Who here has built an MCP server? All right, okay, we got a couple people building. All right, it can be easy to build in auth, and I'm going to try and show you how. The first solution any of us would think is I would just vibe code my own auth. Because you're going to have to pay for a product eventually, right? Everyone's here trying to sell you in the Bay. So let's just vibe code it. So I asked Claude to generate us some instructions on how to do the full OAuth stack for MCP using the spec. And it's a little complicated. Claude got a little sassy here. You can look at the scroll wheel on the side. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot of weird endpoints. You're doing a lot of user management, handling a lot of token passing. A lot of things can go wrong if you try and do this. And so I just genuinely, strongly encourage you to use a framework. I don't care what framework, you just really should use some robust auth framework. So what do you need if you're going to build this? Couple things. You need the usual kind of auth stack you'd need, like it's a Next.js app, put auth in that. There's 1,000,001 starter kits to get you to put auth in whatever web app you're using. How do we bring this to MCP? Two ways. One is you can use a bring your own auth solution. Cloudflare has this. In fact, I can show you. If you go to the docs for using authentication for Cloudflare, Cloudflare has an auth adapter that will do the dynamic client registration for you. So in essence, MCP is weird in that you have a server and a client, and the client needs to connect to the server and is going to do a headless client registration. It's going to show up as an application in your dashboard. It gets kind of weird. So there are adapters that lots of the frameworks use, and you plug in auth into them, or you can implement it yourself. And the perk of doing dynamic client registration yourself is you get to see what clients are being spun up and what's happening, what are they doing? They show up as actual applications on your auth dashboard. Instead of having kind of these anonymous hordes of MCP servers, MCP clients just connecting to your server. You can't really conveniently track what's going on unless you do a lot of weird stuff with logs. So let's say you do want to actually do proper auth following the spec. Here's what you need. You need two weird endpoints, two well-known endpoints that let you do dynamic client registration, which again is just like Claude or Cursor needs to connect to your server, needs to register as a client. You need a callback, pretty straightforward. This is the example. This whole thing, that's the extent of what you need in the callback route. It's just handle auth, if you're using a good auth provider like WorkOS. And then you just need to wrap your MCP tools in some kind of auth handler. And so, I can show you the actual code if you guys want. Feel free to heckle while we're here. What do we got? Transport. It's literally this. This line is all you need to add auth. It gives you an auth object. You can play with it. You can add permissions. It's all the kind of usual nice stuff you would like. Point being is we're trying to make it very easy at WorkOS for you to spin up an MCP server with auth that doesn't break, outside the fact you do need to get your client ID and secret. I'm sorry, but there's just no way around that. We are working internally on an MCP server that will let you get your client ID and secret to like vibe code the whole way through. But there are security implications for that, so that is not shipped yet. But TLDR, if you guys are building MCP servers, please use OAuth. Stop having terrible servers that I'm going to DDoS. And if you're going to use it, I strongly encourage you to use us. Lots of folks have OAuth shipped. WorkOS is the vendor of choice for SSO, SCIM, SAML, AuthKit for almost all of the AI labs, and there's a reason for that. It's because when you want to sell into the enterprise, we have really robust tooling around that. So if you hope one day your MCP server is successful, choose us. Now, I want to thank you all for being here, and as a reward, I'd like to show you this in practice. We can scroll down, we can add to cursor. I'm just going to go straight to the website, mcp.shop, which you can all go to. We have an incredible t-shirt. I've seen the samples of this. It's still about to be shipped out. We put it out at MCP now. The designers have found truly like heaven on earth in a t-shirt. And if you want some nice MCP swag, it's not branded, it's just really cool. The hard part is the only way you can order it is through MCP. And so I'm going to go and add it to Cursor and put it in my chat. And let's really hope in Cursor settings it has found it. Voila, we're going to install. It's connected. Oops, we didn't see the auth flow. I need to rm-rf this particular folder that saves the auth, turn that off and turn it on again. And now you'll see an auth flow. I hope, there we go. Where you can sign in, allow access, you do your usual sign in. I've still got a cookie. It's just, we're too good at storing the cookies. And now we can order a shirt. Let's go, and I would love a shirt. And through the magic of MCP, you can get it. It already knows who I am because I did auth. So I just need to say medium, 123 hack away, and for WorkOS. And I will have a shirt delivered to me. Yes, SF, just put something. And then we will do the tool call. Wonderful. There is your tool call. Boom, you get a shirt. If anyone would like one, mcp.shop. They're going to come soon. They're very cool. So thank you very much. Hope you'll build some cool stuff.